And then, I mean, on a practical level, obviously all this stuff's pretty practical, but on a practical level, things like, well, what are specific phrases that we can use? Because what's really cool about giving a young person specific phrases is you can't miss. Like once you learn the formula, you can't miss. Things like imagine if your son or daughter, when you were saying, can you go clean your room for the third time? If your son or daughter was able to say to you, look, I see your point, mum. However, don't you think that at the end of a really big day, I should play games for a while and decompress and then go and clean my room? Or imagine if instead of your son or daughter saying, you're wrong, being able to say, I'm sorry, but that's not true. Do you remember that? Like imagine. So these sort of phrases are just so helpful and they're just a formula and formulas are very, very helpful for your son or daughter. Okay. The other thing is if you look past the fact that, these characters are all so stereotyped, you can see that um the body language is a bit of an issue here with this. And I imagine we would go into that a fair bit with a picture like this is look at that guy's body language. He's closed. He's closed. He's not receptive. It's something as simple as folding our arms can make it harder for us to be persuasive. Okay. Um, so little things like that. But the magic of this is not going to be that your child learns every phrase and magically starts using every phrase tomorrow, although they might. The magic of this is that we're looking at friendships and we're looking at how our emotions affect us in hard conversations with people. And we look at the idea that life is not perfect and friendships are not perfect. And things like compromise, it's like compromise is a hard skill for anyone. And then it's an even harder skill for kids. And then if we're honest, it's an even harder skill for your child than it is for some other kids, because compromise requires you to sort of step back and take like a third party perspective on the whole situation, which is a difficult thing to do when your emotions are driving you. And generally in conflict, that's what's going to be happening. So we look at that sort of stuff. We look at the idea that you can raise an issue with a friend and it doesn't end the friendship. Okay. So one of the challenges with friendships is that there's an issue that's sort of in the background. Like you might have a friend who's unreliable, who cancels things at the last minute, or you might be that friend. Sometimes I am. You might have a friend who's kind to you most of the time, but every now and then makes a joke at your expense.